Okay, cool.
Oh, did you kick us live already? All right, we're kicking live. We'll go ahead and just keep BSing as we go. What have you been up to? I noticed that you've been working on
Yeah,
that 55.
yeah. Trying to get that Lincoln out of my hair. Can't find pieces and parts. Waiting on stuff. They only made 11,000 of them or whatever the hell, so it's really hard to find the parts. Ford Mercury doesn't work. Lincoln had to be a little bit different. Everything, windshields 2 inches wider, back windows 2 inches wider, the doors are 3/4 of an inch longer. So you're dealing with a weather strip and stuff that don't fit. And I'm dealing, I'm using Ford Mercury stuff trying to put it on a Lincoln. Well, they say, yeah, it'll work. Well, it don't work because the Lincoln was an oddball. It was different. It was a bigger car. So
And that was in the
it is
beginning
what it
years when
is,
they were still.
You do what you got to do.
Because they went from being two companies into one. You know what I mean? Because Lincoln used to be their own company,
Yeah.
didn't they? So they were, I don't even remember what
Yeah.
year they were bought
Back
out.
in the day, yeah. And they got followed into Ford.
I don't know. Are we the
Yeah, it was early on. I know that.
What?
Yeah, because it was Ford Lincoln Mercury forever.
Are you getting lag on your side, or is that just me?
How am I coming through? Are we coming through good and clean, or
I don't,
because
I'm
you're
getting
freezing up on my screen here a little bit now?
Yeah, you're freezing up for me too. We're trying to figure it out right now.
Well, it ain't 40 below this time, so it can't be the cold. Damn, it's nice now. So
Let me try putting this up there.
Yeah, he's moving some stuff around, trying to. We're in the middle of nowhere out here in Kansas, trying to use crappy ass internet.
I'm on a hard line with Mediacom, so that's why last time I was kind of freaked because I'm on a hard line, but I guess what 40 below, whatever the connections, with shrinking and expansion and all that shit, it probably shrunk and just disconnected itself.
Oh, it's a lot more clear now. Yeah, we're actually using cellular signals to shoot stuff around using cell phones.
Okay.
It's crazy how far technology's come. If you would have said that a few years ago, people thought you were nuts.
Yep. Exactly.
All right,
yeah.
Well, I want
Well, I got to talk with your dad the other day.
Oh, that's cool. What did he say?
Okay.
What the old man
Well,
say?
he came on our Zoom chat, told us where he was. He said he ain't been working on the car enough. He needs to be working on it more. He said you were trying to get him to go electric. So he didn't know about the electric though. He didn't know about that. So
I'm going to try and talk everybody.
but I told him, man, you're doing a holy grail car. You're just cutting a Mercury, making a panel out of it. That's never been done. So if he does it right, I mean, people are going to recognize him because he's cutting a holy grail car. If he messes up, everyone's going to remember his name because he messed up. Dealing with the Mercury, that's like I said, a holy grail car. So you got to make sure you do it right. And as far as I look, I mean, the pictures I've seen, it looks pretty good. The lines are nice on it. It's got flow to the roof and everything. So, it's looking good.
Yeah, I can actually see it in eye shot, and it looks great. Like I love the way it looks, and
Yeah.
I know that he's trying to put a sunroof in it, and we've been battling back and forth, and I don't really want to sunroof it.
Yeah, he was talking about the tops of the doors needed to come in more or something, stuff like that. So,
yeah,
and he mentioned the sunroof also. Yeah.
But I want to welcome you back again, Bryan. This is we got cut off last time because of the weather, and for those of you who don't know, this is Bryan Dagel. He comes from so many years of rat rodding and everything like that, and he runs the International RATical Buildoff Driveoff, and we're going to talk about that a lot today. I'm super excited because like this year is going to be. I think SEMA is going to be huge. I was talking to Tammy from Tamco about it and stuff like that, and she's like, I don't know if it's going to happen, but to me, I know the car guys are not going to put up with it.
I hope so. People have been telling me too, it's probably going to happen, but there's going to be restrictions. They're going to have, they're talking about the aisles all going one way and, social distancing. If you ever been to SEMA, how are you going to social distance? I mean, they're packed in like sardines, and there's a reason for it because we all want to see new products. So I don't know if they're going to pull that off or not, but more power to them. I'm sure they're going to try to mask us all up, probably a mandated mask. I don't know for sure. We'll see. I don't want to.
I'm excited to find out because I think the world's starting to open up. You're seeing a lot more people push against what's going on, and like a lot of us have already been sick, so it's like, okay, so you have the majority that have been sick, so it's like it should just be over. But to me, I'm just like, I just want to go see my friends and be involved back in the industry and get the industry rolling again, because all this time we have down, it's just not good for it. You know, like
No, I mean, it's not good for the builders. It's not good for anybody. I mean, the manufacturer's got to be hurting, you would think. But, I've heard through the grapevine that some of the manufacturers are selling stuff hand over fist, and then some of them are folding. So I don't know.
it's the
Are they
ones that
spending
learn
their
how to.
stimulus money, I guess?
Well, it all depends on how they were marketing, how like actual SEMA or how the stuff hit them. You know what I mean? Because like
Yeah.
if you see how like a lot of the companies were still pushing for parts and stuff like that because they have their Instagram following and their YouTube following and stuff like that. So when people are home, now they're watching guys install parts on those vehicles, and that's where I'm trying to teach a lot of our like sponsors is what we need to start pushing stuff to YouTube, start pushing stuff to the online platforms because people are at home watching, and you'll end up selling more product, but at the same time without having it at the racetracks and this and that. And you're having your local racer go out and start hitting stuff every weekend. He's not doing as many passes,
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, it slowed everything down. I mean, it put a damper on everything American. I mean, horrible.
well,
We got to get back to normal.
Tire industry took it right in the pants because people stopped driving their cars.
Well, yeah,
So, 'cause
exactly.
I'm so used to pulling tire sponsorships like it's going out of style, but as soon as everybody stops driving, they quit buying tires, and that hits them for 2 quarters, 3 quarters. That'll just. So I think we're going to see a lot.
I'm
less
sure a lot of these
manufacturers.
places have been changed up management. Management's been being changed up because, I mean, they're all trying to think a better way. Well, the industry was doing great, but we weren't ready for this pandemic crap. So now you're trying to redo your business model and how you sell. And I mean, it was a cluster all the way across the board for everything, every business, every individual person. I mean, you had to rethink your normal day. I mean, let's get back to normal here anytime. I'm ready.
Well, that's what and that's what I think a lot of the car guys are going to say. Well, I don't even care, because even if there isn't a SEMA, I've heard a lot of people even say, I don't give a crap. I'm still going to do what I'm doing. We're still going to we're going to do something in Vegas at that time period.
Yep.
So, and to me, it's like I keep asking SEMA, and they're like, yeah, we're maybe, definitely, maybe, definitely.
I know.
And I was like,
Yeah, it's
come on,
hard
man.
to do a rock solid plan when you get an answer like that. And I mean, they're in the same boat. You just don't know. I get a feel. I mean, by the time summer's done, the fall's here, I think SEMA's going to be a go. I mean,
Well, and they've already started pushing their marketing, showing that it's a go. You know what I mean? That they're planning on doing it, and it's. But you keep asking them, like I've been watching the videos, and they've been really him-hawing about like what's going to be open. But I'm excited about like Vegas itself. If it happens at the new convention center, that new side's going to be open. You know
it
that,
would be,
right?
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
That should be all just all buttoned up. You'd figure.
Yeah, that according
Yeah, we weren't
to
there
those
last year,
plans.
so
Remember the video we watched, and they were like, "Oh, this one will be done, and then now we'll be over here." So this one they should have the normal hot rod hall closed. So that'll be the whole new side.
it'll be interesting.
So I don't know.
Should I ask somebody in Vegas if it's done yet? I mean, are they buttoned up? I mean,
there is. It looks
not
totally
being there last
different.
year. No.
I don't know. I'm trying to get somebody from the convention center on, and I'd like to have them on our online thing. Do the live at 5 with them and be like, dude, your convention center is like on the point. Because like I saw pictures the other day of like from Circus's view, how it was like literally nothing. Now there's this huge giant structure with this wavy roof all the way down, and all the glass is in.
Yeah.
So I was trying to pick out what parking spot I wanted to
before
put the Camaro at, and I'm like, oh my god, all this is going to be open now. I'm like, oh.
Yep. Have you started on the Camaro?
You know me. No, I'm already the bot.
Don't be doing no 90-day build on this one now. Get her done.
No, the body's ready for its donor. The donor should be coming in like this month, which we're hoping on getting here. So I've actually smoothed out a lot of things on it, and I got a lot of work into it when we were planning on going to Porsche. So now that we're going the other way, it's like a little bit of a change.
Yeah.
My camera's kind of goofed, huh?
You're not as quite as crisp. You're kind of, there you are. Now you crisp right up.
Yeah, Cody fixed it. He's sitting here like, I got this. No, I'm excited about it because, like, as a marketer, like, I knew how to market SEMA before, but with the new style of how the whole building is going to be, it's going to change up the flow of walking. It's going to change up the flow of everything.
Oh, yeah, it's going to be a whole different place. So, yeah, the flow and all that. You never know. They might have set it up so they got one-way traffic and stuff. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they're scratching their heads trying to figure out what they have to do to make it a little safer for everybody or make it more compliant with what Nevada wants from them, to keep us all safe.
Well, that's what
as much as they can.
Well, we have to cross that one big street to get over there is my whole thought. I know they're working that walkway over. So I'm hoping that gets fixed. So it's like you just take the one walkway over and you're down over on the other side. Yeah.
Not to see.
So, but let's get back into what was the first year that RATical actually was a thing? Like, how did
2016
RATical,
was.
So how did it come to be?
How did RATical come to be? Well, 2015, I built a 35 Chevy for Rat Rod Magazine. Went down, represented Rat Rod Magazine. Was hoping to land a butt pile of sponsorship for advertising for the mag. Standing around SEMA Ignite. Garage Mike egged me on. Let's do a burnout. Oh, God, SEMA Ignite. I said, you go get me some water. I'm running, 10-inch slicks. I said, go give me some water. So he come back with a bottle of water, wet my tires up. I sat there and did about a 2-minute burnout power break. People come running from every different direction. Shut her down. Someone, Tommy Lee from Coker Tire comes over and says, do it again. We want to film it. So I fired it back up, burned another minute, shut it down. The cops came, shut us all down. Told me I had to clean up my rubber. Well, there's a mountain of rubber there. I got done burning for 3 minutes. They find out that they're joking with me. Well, the conversation started going about rat rods and not being represented as much. And Jason Grew was there, Patrick, Wilson, me, Sam Hard, Steve Darnell, Jesse Combs was even standing there bullshitting with us for a while. And Jason had said out there, that we're not being represented. Maybe we should do a build off and then, drive into SEMA. Or like, yeah. Well, me and Pat just got off of working with Rat Rod Magazine for 5 years, and we did all these drive offs and build offs and stuff. So we were kind of just, happy to have a year off, taking time off and enjoy SEMA. Well, Jason was beating the drum hard. I'm like, you know what? I told Pat, we should maybe think about it and look into doing a build off, drive off in. Well, the first year went down. Jason built, Sam built, and Kyle Woolman built. Jason was the only one to build a rat rod. Was a true rat rod. Sam built that Rolls Royce, blew up everything. I mean, we couldn't even call that a rat rod, but it was built in a rat rod theme. Who cuts up a Rolls Royce, a 33's Rolls Royce? I mean, it was nuts. Well, that was the reason. Well, we came right down to the voting. It's like, well, who are we going to have here? Kyle built a really nice Kustom. Jason is the only one to build a rat rod. This is a rat rod build up, so we have to give the award to the rat rod. Otherwise, we're going to be filleted here at SEMA. So Jason ended up winning. We all went home. We started talking. Jason gets on the phone with me. He feels bad. He won, but Sam built such an incredible build with that Rolls Royce that we decided to let's change it from rat. Let's go RATical. It's the next step up out of RATical. Or the rat rod scene would be go to RATical. I mean, it's not full-blown custom, but it's still built in that rat theme, but with newer parts and ingenuity and, being able to drive 1,500 miles across the country without breaking down is a big deal. So we decided to change the name from rat to RATical. That's why we went RATical. And we've been RATical ever since. And let me tell you, the bar has been set high every year. Everybody's been building RATical stuff. It's in a rat rod theme, like Tyler Turton built that killer COE truck. And it was painted. And it was, well, that's not rat rod. It was 7 trucks cut up and put together. And the trucks he cut up weren't that great of shape. So That to me is rat rod thinking. He took rusty trucks out of Canada and built this incredible COE panel truck, which Ford never did make. So to me, he worked his way into that award because he built something radical. Sure, it wasn't a rat rod, but what he did was out of the radical theme. He took 7 trucks that were basically junk and built something that won. I think he sold it for what, 80 grand? So I mean, he did good.
His was that black and orange one, wasn't it?
Black and orange, the big Bandit. Yep, they did it in the Bandit theme from Smoking a Bandit.
We got it pulled up right now.
Incredible build. I mean, it come out really nice, and we were jamming on that thing as it rolled into Vegas. We rolled into Laughlin and spent the night in Laughlin the night before we had to be in for check-in, and we were wet sanding that down. They knocked it all down. We drove into Vegas the next morning. They put it in the shop and they clear coated that sucker the next morning. It dried for 12 hours, and then they put it in SEMA. Don't touch the car.
They were the ones I got my inspiration from to paint mine at SEMA. Because as soon as I heard they did paint at SEMA, and I was like, I got to do the same thing. Like, to me, that's funny. That tells a story. And, I loved that about that one. Another one I loved was the Voodoo ones, because you guys had 2 trucks that were just completely out of this world crazy. You know, the Voodoo ride, the green one with the white.
Cobblestone Customs.
Yeah.
Out of Belgium. That guy come from Belgium. That was a really good build. That got sold too. I think that went to Anchorage, Alaska, I do believe.
That's crazy.
We sold it here in the States.
Yeah, we got some pictures up here. I just noticed those ones, and those are my 2 favorite of that year, because that's the year you guys hit me up in the booth to join up in.
Yep.
And come play. Yep. And I was like, man, I've never done a radical. I was like, all my stuff's pretty weird. So I was like, well, I'll do it. And
that was the year it got old. That's when we froze up that year, man. It was woke up to 16 degrees, black ice. I mean, these guys all come prepped. We got New Zealand, Australia over here. They're not ready for this stuff. No one was really ready for it. Even us in the States weren't ready for that cold of temp time of the year, you know.
What I love is Team New Zealand. They were cruising across Colorado on their way to here, because they all met up here and we hung out for a day or two, you know, before they went up to Nebraska. And New Zealand, he's out there just hanging out in the snow, and he took a picture with 1.5 foot of snow on top of that 6-wheeled monster, and that was just hilarious. It's the one with the motorcycle on the roof.
That was a really good build too. That had a hydraulic vent and pulled it back off of that. That was a really nice. That was a painted vehicle too, but you didn't notice it. He did it in that frost stuff. Zolta it looked like frost when they sprayed it out. It really was nice. I mean, it was an exceptional build. We just had so many good builds that year that Tyler ended up winning. And I mean, I think New Zealand got kind of PO'd because he did build a very unique, radical rod, but the builders voted. And he didn't get voted in, so.
I know my favorite.
Well, that's what our event. We do it just like SEMA does. We let the builders vote. The staff is just there for tie-breaking reasons and keep the rules being followed. As far as being voted on, the builders vote on who is going to win. So, that is, it's build off by builders for builders. So we figured might as well have them pick the winner. So, and so far they've been doing a really good job.
Oh yeah, and I loved it when Sean won ours. I loved his car going down the highway. I loved everything. My favorite was I hung back with Dirty Money a lot when we were driving, because it was one of my favorites. You know what I mean? Just seeing that giant bank run down the road.
Who builds a mobile bank? I mean, that was a killer build.
Well,
very unique.
And the thing about these vehicles that a lot of people don't get is you can hop in any one of these radical rides. And you can drive 20,000, 40,000, 80,000 miles. You can keep scrolling through. And they're just epic vehicles. It's not something you would be afraid to take a road trip with your kids or anything like that in.
Oh. That's what it's all about, is to drive. That basically Gene Winfield was one who really patted me on the back. He says, thank God you guys are bringing back driving. What a novel idea. Let's drive to SEMA, because he felt bad. He told me, he says, back in the day, I was one of the first guys to be building the show cars that went into the trailer and got hauled to the show, and it was just for show. Wasn't driven much. It was just a show car. So he felt kind of bad that he says, this is the direction we put the scene into. And he says, nothing is being driven in the SEMA. Now you guys are driving in the SEMA. You're bringing back driving the hot rod. What a novel idea. Not just build it and stand there and brag about it, but actually take it on and enjoy the thing. That's what it was all about back in the day. And that's what we're trying to do right now, is to bring it back. The joy of driving the hot rod across the country. I mean, like-minded people, you got 8, 10 guys, 15 guys all together driving the same kind of vehicles across country. It's an epic thing. I mean, it turns into a hell of a caravan, a convoy basically across the country. It's pretty cool to be part of it.
Well, I gave UASA the driving trip we took the year I went, and I told them the exact mileage that it took to get to Vegas and everything like that. Our goal with this Camaro, because we're going to drive it on the RATical Driveoff, we're going to have a bunch of UASA engineers there watching this happen. We're going to do it on one charge from Nebraska to Las Vegas on one charge. So I gave them a requirement. I wanted to be able to do removable batteries so I could do the cannonball. And they hit me up with that. And I was like, I'm down. I'm like 1,000 miles on an electric vehicle. That's not been done yet. On no charge from Nebraska. Who can say that? No charge on a Tesla.
Man, that's a long push. That's 1,500 just to drive. Now, if you do monkey around, once we get to, we're stopping for the night and most people got to run to Walmart or go get some food or whatever, that's all extra miles. So really, you're looking at probably close to 17 once the guy's done dicking around and cruising around cities. And because once you show up, you got to drive around a little bit, and,
Well, I don't know what they're, and that's where we were kind of like, I don't know. I think it's a little too far. I don't think it could happen, but they want to see how far they can push the batteries because they think they can do it. And it may be with one battery swap, but they're trying to push how far we can go with the technology. They were talking about, because we're talking about doing a research, because I'm not trying to make this car the fastest car in the world. My goal is I would like this to be something you could road trip, have fun in, still do a burnout. That's a requirement.
Yep.
But to have fun in and be able to put that many miles on. And and that's the one thing I want to make sure with this RATical stuff. Like, I want to make sure it participates with them. Because, like, to me, it's like I want to be the one weirdo with you guys. I don't even think I want to do that. I don't even know if I want to be the one driving it. I was thinking about like maybe running a competition to see who hops in the car and let somebody else drive it. Because to me, like the drive is so much part of the experience and being with those people. So I thought it might be fun to be like, all right, who hasn't been to SEMA, and offer up like one of the driver passenger seats of my vehicle up on the thing and be like, all right, we're going to do this, and that's maybe how we can advertise the International RATical Build. And be like, all right, who wants to drive an electric Tesla to SEMA? Or an electric 69 Camaro?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, be first of its kind, and to be the first, what a good break-in would it be to drive it 1,500 miles in.
Well,
good break points right there.
Well, and then we can throw it in with RATical and everything like that, and I'm trying to think of ways we can advertise it to get us out of a box that are just so, you guys are already so wild and crazy. How do we get hipsters involved? How do we get the new generation going, this is cool?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because we're trying to bring in other genres also. We've just been having, custom cars, with stuff that have been modified. We've had 2 coach built cars, this year. But I wouldn't mind seeing some crazy 4-wheel drives or, tuners or anything. Exotic cars, anything, but long as built it.
I want to see an import.
Long as it's built, though.
Oh, yeah, it definitely has to be built. You got to have somebody, they got to be pulling fenders, go older, go newer, throw that, like maybe old Volvo would be sick. Take one of those older Honda Civics, throw a newer drivetrain in it, and completely Frankenhonks that thing. Oh. Or even that
better, would be the ticket right there to go with a classic tuner, find something, and then modernize it.
Well, even if you
take something from the late 60s, early 70s tuner car, Datsun or whatever.
Well, why couldn't you? I would think it would be funny if somebody took like 57 Chevy and you popped it and you had like some 450 horse like Honda motor.
We had,
The look on
who
your
was
face
that?
there was
A friend of
epic.
mine, Chad Truss, is doing that. He's doing a 3-window with a 4-cylinder Saab turbo in it. The 3-window Chevy, I think it's a 30 with a 4-cylinder Saab twin turbo. I think it's twin turbo. I think he's going to do on it. He hasn't got it done. He's been working on it for a few years here, but I would like to see that when it's done because it's something different. I mean, I'm not a big import motor guy and stuff, but it's something different to look at, how they did it, how they put it in there, because I'm all about the build. I don't care really what you're building. I like the ingenuity, how they got it shoehorned in there and how did they get it to work, proper and still perform good. So it's not all about what it is sometimes, it's how they did it sometimes.
Well, and that's the radical part is like people don't realize it's the core
Nope.
of hot rodding. It is what you can find, what you got laying there, what can you build. It's not like, oh, can I put back together my '69 Camaro, or oh, can I put together this? It's like, can I take that and add that? Take my Honda and graft this over.
Yep.
Like, what creativeness have you got? Like, what is your voice? And that's where I tell a lot of people when they're doing builds is you got to have.
And that's
your
what we're looking
voice.
for.
Yeah,
And balls.
But yeah, and that's it's the balls to actually do it.
Oh,
Most people won't even take the time to actually just go, can I do this? Like, am I willing to even try? They just rather just, oh, well, him haw back and forth and maybe I'll give it a shot, maybe I won't. But then it ends up being a couple cars that they never do. And I just want people to pull the trigger and not be afraid. Don't be judged. Be weird. Enjoy the weirdness.
Different is dare to be different. That's what's happening. Dare to be different. Put something out there that hasn't been done because the automotive scene has been, hate to say, has been copied and redone so many times. We don't need another red 57 Chevy. I mean, but now if you would do something very radical to it, like, Chris Walker was cutting up those shoebox Chevys and making them his own, same with like Ian Russell. These guys that are cutting up stuff. And I mean, a mainstream car that's been done a lot, but they're cutting it up and making it different. That's what I'm looking for. Guys with balls willing to cut up stuff and make it different, and cool, not just odd different, but badass different,
Yeah, and I think people are just afraid of being judged. You know what I mean? Just like if you ask somebody that draws or that doesn't draw, like, hey, when was the last time you drew? Oh, I can't draw. I've never been able to draw. It's like, when was the last time you tried? It's like they never actually will take the actual chance to go, well, is it okay to fail? Me, I love failure. You saw me. I love like the 90-day build thing. Everybody else got a year. I got 90 days. How can I screw myself? Like, I love the fail part because if it drives me to see how far I can push it. Like, I did so much crazy fab. Doing it 90 days with all that fab, that's insane.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. It's good to push yourself though, like that though, to try to see how far you can go and what you can do, and people have the society we live in right now. It's hard a lot of people are scared to put themselves out because we're in a society that loves to tear people down, beat them to the ground because they're different. Well, I like guys who stand out of the crowd. They are a little different, but they're building some badass stuff. I mean, Sean is knocking out of the park. Sean Puz, I mean, to come back again after last year winning and to run the 2020 and build the truck he built, incredible. But he's got both.
I've got information I can't speak of, but I know I know when he comes back, not this year, but the next time, he might be playing with other things too, and it's very epic what he came up with. And I'm like, oh my god, that's cool. Like, I wish I could tell people, but it's one of those things that you're just gonna have to stay tuned. Like, some of these guys are.
That one there is an innovator.
He's building his shop this year and getting his shop set up so he can build the next beast.
Yep. Yeah, he's going to keep going. One of one customs are going to go. They'll do really well in the scene.
Well, and I love hanging out with Sean. I went down there when I went and picked up the Camaro and hung out with him for a day. We actually filmed some stuff I still haven't even put up yet. It's just, I love going out and hanging out with him, and he's really he's a great dude.
He is. And he's a forward-thinking guy. I mean, he's always leaning into everything. if he's going to do it, it's 110%, or he ain't going to do it. So he's a good representative for RATical.
Well, that's why I love hanging out with him, because like I'm so little bit different. Because I'm so weird, and I'm always on my own planet scale and everything like that. So like to me, when we're talking about fab and stuff, and him and I sat down for like probably a couple hours, and we were looking through his sketchbooks, which he never lets anybody see. But I had sent him stuff online and showed him some of my stuff, and we were kind of bouncing ideas back and forth, and I was looking at his sketches, trying to understand some of them. And the dude thinks on such a weird level that you have to get to in your mind to comprehend what he's doing, and you're like, oh, wow. Like, you have really went into redesigning everything. Like, he can't leave anything alone.
No, nothing. He touches it all. I mean, everything he does, he's got to dig into it. I mean, I asked him, or he won last year in 2019, he wanted to come back for 2020 and literally just blew away the competition with a full-on coach built. I don't think there's a heck of a lot on there that he didn't literally hand fab. I mean, there's some stuff that was sponsored to him, but literally, I mean, right down to spindles, everything. I mean, it's incredible what he can do. He's forward thinker.
And the funny thing is, the pictures of when he was winning, the car's getting even more done to it from then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they sent me some video, and I was shocked. I was like, this can't be new video. So I asked him, I said, is that new video? He goes, yeah, shut your mouth. I'm like, I ain't saying nothing, but you're blowing my mind, dude. I mean, so kudos to him.
I haven't seen it yet, but I was talking to him on the phone, because we chat probably like once a month or so. So I love just checking in with him, because he's got such crazy. I don't even know if he's from this planet half the time.
I know. I like. Well, that's why we put RATical together, to find these unique builders, because they're out there. They're hard to find, but there are a lot of these guys across the United States, well, globally, that are building their own, and they're not listening to what everyone else is saying, and they're building some really cool shit. So I mean, you can't knock them. It's not mainstream, but it's ballpark out of here stuff. So good for them.
We're working with a manufacturer right now that's working on voice recognition software, because I'd like the Camaro to open the doors when you tell it to open the doors.
Oh my God. Alexa, open the door, huh?
Yes! I want the automated hot rod.
Haven't seen that yet. That'd be RATical.
That's where I thought it'd be fun to go, but they're having so much trouble with it. Like, literally almost anybody could steal the car. Like,
yeah.
Yeah, and they're working. We got in with a company that does cybersecurity that can do the voice thing, and they're looking at trying to help us figure this out. And they're extremely interested in it, because if we can develop the technology to push it somewhere else, I don't want to have it. I just want access to it. Like, let's help each other out. And it's been kind of fun, because I'm like, well, we can get it to work, but I don't want somebody just to walk up to the car and be like, Hawk, open the doors, and the doors just fly open and they just take off with the car.
Yeah, that's something. I mean, you think about voice recognition, you could actually get rid of your keys. You wouldn't have to lock your car anymore. You could just, if they got it dialed in where it knew you, I mean, they could do eye retina scan and all that shit too, but just walking up to your car and saying, open the door, that'd be cool as hell.
We're actually trying to get it where we have a fingerprint scanner through the windshield.
Yep.
So you're gonna walk up to the windshield, and you're gonna be able to put your fingerprint down, and that'll unlock the system, and then you are able to like start speaking to the car. But it's supposed to voice rec, and it's like the system doesn't work, and then literally anybody can talk to it. Even your phone was picking it up, is what the guy said. He said he was playing voices on a phone, like they had a video going on the phone, and the car was doing, or the program was running stuff.
Right.
I want to incorporate, you've seen the Tesla dance with the doors open and the music and the lights. I want to tie it into the car. I can't just let something like that go away. If I'm tying a Tesla into a Camaro, I got to make it do things. So to me, it's like, if I can tie all that stuff in, it just makes it more funny, more radical, because how would a hot rodder take the car? If we're going to if I was going to make a hot rod that I could sell by Google, is my thought process on the car. Where it's like, look at this on Google. I got a 69 Camaro. Come talk to Alexa.
Well,
Alexa, go get me a Coke. And it takes you to the freaking Sonic.
Yeah, really. There'd be Alexa do a burnout, and she just roasts the tires. You got to just steer it a sucker, you know.
Yeah.
There you go.
Alexa, kick on power mode.
Oh.
Throws you an extra 200-300 horse.
Hell yeah.
But it's fun to think about incorporating all that into the Tesla controls, because the Tesla is all open source wiring. So it's all open to the world. So you can actually go in and take aftermarket software and actually adjust and put it into it.
Oh, okay.
So it's not even hard to modify.
Yeah, you just got to be a techie to do that shit, and I'm not a techie.
Well, that's why we just got to make friends with the dorks.
There you go.
They're into cars too. They just don't know how to build them.
No.
That's why they picked the BMWs, because they're like, oh, it's technologically advanced. They don't know they can take the old and make the new.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my goal, is to bridge these two groups.
There you go.
Bring us together, because we got some digital dash stuff that we're going to be working. Like, I'm hoping that they're going to be able to sponsor a few of your guys. So,
that'd be cool.
And I've been talking to a few different people, and it's like, if we're going to push technology into ours, how can I use some of this to push technology into some of the older cars?
Mm-hmm.
So I know a few of the companies, they don't really show at SEMA, but they show it like Tokyo Auto Show and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that's the other direction I've been looking. I'm like, well, if they're playing over there, maybe they'll come play over here.
Let's hope. Let's see them bring the technology over here. And they build the first 21st century Tesla 69 Camaro with Alexa in it. Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is, they were like, well, would a rat rodder be interested in a touchscreen dash? And I was like, you give them an option with like an L, because some of those guys I know are probably running LS engines, to run their engine and have it pull up on a screen where they can tune it. They're like, we can do that. I'm like, they would love that.
Well, this next generation coming in, they're all techies anyways. You know, everyone's running a phone. They're constantly. So, yeah, I mean, the next hot rodder from that generation, that would probably be easy for them because they're running that phone anyways. And that technology is based on the same stuff that would be in that car. You'd be, or a verbal command. That's pretty crazy.
Well, you can actually literally, what's funny is the technology on your computer of your car isn't that high tech, believe it or not. I know people think it's over the top, over the moon to control like your ignition timing, the spark and all that. You can actually put that program, you upload it from the internet to that computer. It's a few transducers here and there. So to piggyback off a main computer and drive it through something else, so easy. So you can have an online tune. They already do it when you plug it into the OBD2 port. You know what I mean?
Like I said, I'm not a techie. I'm an old dude with a carb. But that's the wave of the future. That's what's coming in. I mean, literally, well, it has been. I mean, come on. The small block Chevy's gone. LS has dominated for the last 20 years. So,
well, and I think its domination is going to be the only last one. It's going to be the last runner, because Ford is basically starting to shut down their passenger car line. You know, like the only thing they're going to have left is a Mustang.
That's crazy.
So, and it's looking like it's going electric. I know the Focus is going to stay overseas probably, but not many. I don't know. Like, I've been looking at everything. Dodge kicked all their passenger cars off. And it's all
I know they're trying to lead everything to the green electric. Man, I live up here in Minnesota. We get 40 below. You ain't going jack anywhere with no electric anything. I mean, maybe uptown to hook up to the charging station again, but at 40 below, shit don't work. I don't know if they've had Teslas in 40 below to test them to see how longevity is and stuff, the batteries and all that. I mean,
I don't know. Hummer, like that new Humvee, it's, what is it, 11,500 foot-pounds of torque, 1,000 horsepower, all electric.
Animal.
It's got 37-inch tall tires, and I think they've tested it in the electric. I believe they tested it up in Alaska.
Well, you'd think they would have had to. I mean, if it's going to go into production, they got to think of everything. I mean, extreme heat, you're running in, Vegas and Death Valley, you're 120, 122. I mean, sometimes, that's pushing it. And you go, like up here, we had, 40 below. You get in Alaska, you're pushing 60s, below. Oil don't flow then. So I don't know. You're going to electric.
I used to live up in Fairbanks, and it's not actually, technically I lived in North Pole.
Further north than Alaska even, yeah.
Well, no, we're actually south of Fairbanks by I think it was 20 miles. but it's like where they have the Santa Claus house, and literally
Okay.
Santa Claus is my neighbor. He used to get drunk, ride a Harley during the summer.
There you go. Yep.
But no, the cold up there is ridiculous. Like it
Oh,
would get
yeah.
up to we'd see 40, 50 below, and we for fun we'd boil water and throw it in the air.
Yeah. Watch her turn to snow like poof, right now. Yeah, you spit that don't hit the ground before it freezes. That's cold.
So like we were talking about the first year of Radical. Um, so the first year when you guys were doing the drive off and everything like that, because I know that you guys have started every year at I wasn't able to
Lincoln
make it
Press.
there. Yeah, Lincoln, Nebraska, at
Yep.
Homeboy's house. And like, was he one of the first year guys or?
Troy Gubster, we leave from Stove Creek Automotive. We used to. As of now, we were leaving from in town. We'll be setting up at a motel hotel. I don't know exactly which one now because we're dealing with a couple. Jeremy had set up something, and I haven't talked to him since yet. So, where was I going with this?
Oh, where it starts and stuff like that, and
Yeah,
like
Troy. Actually, I met Troy in 2012. That's why we had the hosting the event at his place. He came with on the second Rat Rod magazine tour, the 4,000 miles of Rust tour. Same thing. We left Minnesota all the way to Las Vegas, all the way back to Minnesota. So that was a 4,000-mile push there, down and back. And Troy was one of the guys that was with us that did the whole trip. Them 12 people that went with, I'm still extremely close with every one of those guys. I mean, that second tour, the very first Rat Rod magazine tour was me and a friend going down, Brett Bonneville. But the second year we did Vegas, and I think there was 12 of us, a dozen of us. And to this day, we're still all like brothers. You go on the road with someone like that, you're literally, it becomes family. I mean, because you have all the breakdowns and the fixing and all that, from drunk to plain sober to everything in between. You experience it on the road with someone for 4 days, it becomes family. Also,
that's the best part about it. It's like when we left up there. Where's the first place we stopped? I can't remember.
Hugoton, Kansas is the first stop. We stop at Braxton
Yeah,
Reynolds.
Braxton's place.
Yep.
So you're out middle of Kansas. I remember that was pretty fun. The cool part is if you had issues, like we pulled Empathy off the trailer and we were still trying to fix her there. So it was really cool that everybody kind of pitched in, was throwing parts around, and Braxton was out digging out stuff out of the yard, trying to find stuff to get other guys going. And
everybody scratches their head and tries. If someone has a problem, now you got all these teams thinking about your problem, and they're going to troubleshoot it and figure it out.
Well,
we figured out.
It blew my wife away.
Great thing I think it was that we figured that out at Brax's, wasn't it? No,
we figured it out as that was the last alternative. Like when we went through everything that night. We bled the brakes. We went through and had everything off. We pulled wheels off, like master cylinders off, ran every line, ran every fitting, every single thing. And then it was finally, we were like, well, maybe it's a bad master. It's not got enough throw. And by that time it was like we were rolling out that morning.
Mm-hmm.
So we had like a few hours to roll it on the trailer because we worked all night.
Well, the next night you were driving it then, weren't you, when we left?
Well, when we got to the next location, we pulled it back off where we started working on it on the trailer right there because we knew that was the last thing we had to do. And that was when, oh man, I can't remember his name, the Louisiana guys,
Terry and Anthony.
Yeah, Terry, he handed me a cutoff wheel. And I went in there and I cut the brake pedal, but I only cut it 3/4 of the way through. And I bent it where I needed it to. And I took a nut and I just kind of used it to work the brakes. And they worked.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, all I had to do was move the pedal just that much. And I got another hot rodder that was there because we were at that Route 66 museum in the parking lot.
Yep.
I was trying to convince Lonnie to let me use the welder on the back of his truck. But he's like, I don't want the chrome to change. I'm like, dang it, come on, Lonnie, just a 2 tacks, man.
Well,
but another guy, he picked me up, and coolest dude. I didn't even know the guy. We just threw the parts in the back of his truck, and we rolled down to his shop, probably 5-6 miles away. We're kind of spinning corners and sliding around in this old Chevy pickup with I think he had he told me it was a 502 big block.
No,
In a Chevy truck. I'm pretty sure he had a supercharger on it too, because it was it boogied.
Yeah.
But we got down to his shop and he welded it up for me, and we got it back, and that's when we started driving ours.
Mm-hmm. I did the last 2 days. You drove. Yep.
Yep. And then I actually quit when we were in Arizona. I got so sick of them roads because my car was so low. My back tires wouldn't stay inside the grooves where the semis were. And I didn't have a sway bar in the back end of the car. My front tire stayed in the groove just fine, but every once in a while the car would hop, and I would be like going this way, and I'd be like 30 degrees right or 30 degrees left, depending on the hop. And I was like, and the front end would bring it back because I was still straight, but it just scared the crap out of you because it was just like you just had this little bounce, and then all of a sudden it would just go whoop.
I remember when you got it going, me and Pat were following you, and you piled all the kids from the youth group program in the back of your rig. And here we are, like 70, 75. I'm like, Jesus. You haven't really test drove, but we got a truckload of kids, and you're flying down your freeway, and it's bouncing. I'm, oh, God, please. Make it all together. And it did. Knock on wood, it held together good. And the kids, I'm sure, remember that the rest of their lives. I mean, that was epic for them.
Well, and I knew everything was, I went through everything underneath that car 100 times.
Yeah.
So, like, I knew everything was golden. The only thing I didn't put is a sway bar. Like, I was like, I got a Watts link. I don't need a sway bar at the moment. I'll get that when I get back. No, I needed a sway bar. Like, nobody's business.
Track a lot better.
It was a lot of fun, though. And it was because of that Watts link that it was dancing, because the tires, you know, it doesn't have the tan hard. So when one tire goes up and the other, when mine, it was like, it kept the equal distance. So the whole body would just do the boogie down the road. And I was like, bitch.
Makes for a good trip. Yep, exciting that way.
The thing I thought was absolutely crazy is I went through everything on that car, front to back. Praise God that didn't come off while we were driving. The steering rod, tie rod link, fell off on the way into SEMA Ignited.
I remember that. Yeah, you were pissed at Moog. I remember that.
Oh, God, Moog parts, man. Hey, Cody, you'll have to fix the camera again, but Moog parts, they pissed me off like nobody's business. I have never seen anything like that before in my life. It just completely fell off. Like, I turned a corner, and I think it was the corner I was turning because it was a little bit over 90. You know what I mean? But I had a Camaro steering on there. So, yeah, it bound up a little bit, but I had arrows up. Everything was fine. No tension on anything, and it just fell off. And
that was a crazy night. We were trying to get to SEMA Ignite, and it took so long to get in there. And then half of the crew that was behind, I think they let half in, and then someone drove by and lit a firecracker, and they thought it was a gunshot. So they shut everybody down. So people who had waited like 3 hours in line were driven right by SEMA Ignite. There were some pissed off people, boy. Wait in line that long to be driven right on by.
Oh, but they were so freaked out about the Vegas shooting thing still.
Yeah, I know. Everyone was still pretty uptight about that.
Everybody was so damn tense. And like when we were doing the interior at night during, like when they were supposed to, like SEMA's not supposed to be going on, you know, because you start Sunday and like the show doesn't start till Tuesday. So, you know, Sunday night, Monday night, Tuesday night, power on. You'll usually see a lot of guys building and putting things together, last cleanups, last touch-ups.
Finishing up. Yep.
And they were so anal about everybody there. I got patted down like twice just to make sure we weren't like carrying weapons and shit. And I'm like, dude, we're just working on a car.
Yeah, I wonder what they're going to do this year. Are they going to have, I mean, there's going to be metal detectors, I'm sure, and stuff like that. But I wonder what kind of hoops they're going to make us jump through. I mean,
I don't know. And usually it's not, they usually have it figured out by time because it sounds funny, but ours isn't even, the SEMA show is not even the biggest show that actually hits there. They have the female care stuff with the lotions, the hair products, and all that. That's the biggest show actually at the Las Vegas Convention Center.
Yeah.
They use it to prep up for us. We're just messier from what I understand.
Yeah, we're a bunch of men. What do you expect? You get a bunch of women in with lotion and all that fancy hair stuff and all. They're going to be clean, nice, precise, good looking. Us big old slobs come rolling in our cars. I mean, what can you say? We're car guys,
No, I was joking with my friend that works there because he works at the convention center, and he's one of the maintenance guys that does light bulbs and stuff like that.
Ah,
He's told me there was in just the facilities they've had in the past without the new stuff. He told me there was over 1 million light bulbs in all those buildings.
Man.
And I was like, dude. And he goes, yeah, we've been swapping everything over to LED. And he goes,
I'm
when
sure.
we set up those tents for you guys, he goes, we have to light everything. He goes, we're throwing up another 1,000 lights, 2,000 lights. And he goes, you wonder why we have those power units? It's because it's there's so much power being drawn.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, I never even thought about it. But that's
I'd like to see an electric bill for the week from SEMA. Oh,
all the drop downs and all the crazy stuff in the booths and.
Mm-hmm. Well, everybody's got something running. They got videos running in their booths and TVs and everything, so a lot of juice being sucked up, and the air conditioners running wide open too.
Now, sponsor-wise for RATical, I know you guys have had some trouble in the past with a few and people not following through, but
yeah,
if we're calling out for sponsors right now and we wanted to reach out to sponsors, what would we say to them? We'd be who would we be looking for? Are we looking for paint sponsors? Are we looking for gauges?
We're looking for just everything, I guess, really. I mean, because anybody who wants to put a product out there that wants it tested, that's the big thing. If you're someone new in the industry and you got something that wants to be put on the road and put the stress on it, our guys are more than happy to put it out on the street and pound it all the way to Vegas. And then you could stand there, buy that vehicle and say, that's my product. It just was driven into Las Vegas. That to me is huge. And I don't know, I've been bouncing this off of manufacturers, and for some reason, I don't know if they're not hearing me. To me, as a car builder, there's nothing better than a proven product. You can stand there and promise everything under the sun until it's put on the street and it's pounded on and it's tested. Anything can happen. So we are the proving grounds, I believe, for new product that will go into SEMA.
Well,
I just got it
is
right.
The advertisement angle for them too, because they can get visuals. Yeah. They can go out and see it on the car at SEMA. You can actually physically see it being built on the internet, so you can utilize that picture of the product being put on. You can talk with your builder and have him do video and have him knock out video for you showing the installation of your product. And that's where I'm trying to push to a lot of sponsors and trying to help reach out, and that's what I'm going to use some of this video for. Is if you are attending SEMA, you can get an outside spot. You are guaranteed by their little thing an outside spot. So you are allowed to bring one vehicle to SEMA, and it only costs you $450.
Yeah.
Now every extra spot like that is $450, but you can only get one guarantee. Now there's spots that you can pay thousands of dollars for that are right up front and right in front of everybody's face.
Yep.
But every manufacturer, everybody that attends SEMA is guaranteed one spot. The best way to show off your car and your product is by utilizing your one spot and by using a vehicle that is going to be crazier than something you're seeing normally, something that's off the wall, something radical. The attention these things get, and then also the video and everything else like that with everybody else pushing, you're going to get more eyes on your product. You're going to have other builders hitting you up. You're going to have other guys going, hey, let me see what you got going on there. And the more you can push your stuff out there, it's better for reach.
Oh, yeah. And RATical right now was so ripe for the picking. I mean, we're in our 6th year. We got groups going to Vegas every year to SEMA, and we don't have a main sponsor. So, I mean, I like to think there's someone out there in the manufacturer's world looking for this cherry pick spot to prove your product. And I mean, we let you in on a song here to promote the event. We need someone like Jegs or Summit that, that sell a lot of product, everybody's product, so it would be a really good fit for them because, like I said, we could prove multiple products in multiple vehicles at one time, all end up at SEMA. So
I don't know. I think they'd be a hard pull just because they've got their heads so far up their butts in racing.
That's a lot of it too. That's what I've been told from them is, well, we're racing. Well, yeah.
But
we'll go racing.
Something I thought of as a tire tire sponsor. You can pull in a tire sponsor, hook up everybody with your tires. you see a bunch of hot rods running down the road, and then you start looking at their tires and notice everybody's running your tire.
Yep.
You know, that, like, to me, that's one hell of a statement. And especially if you go see every Radical ride and it's running your tire.
Yep.
You know.
And they all drove in. That speaks volumes.
So,
I believe, like I said, I think we are the proving grounds going into SEMA. So we just need to hook up with the right manufacturers who have new product that want this stuff proven. And we'll test it. Or you guys will test it.
And I got some ins with a few of them, so me and you might talk after this, so we can we can approach a few of them. I've got won't get on air too much about it, but I got Cooper and like I had man, who did I have on? We better cut this out so they don't see it. But like I can't remember what I had on Norma Jean. It was this. Well, we'll chat later about it. But they literally those people would give me anything I wanted. They were freaking epic. I cannot freaking remember.
Another one would be any fab company, any fabrication company, because all these guys are fabbing. Welding companies, it's a no-brainer for welding company. Miller had stepped up the very first year. And Miller gave us a welder, a MIG-TIG combo. And that one, Charlie Pachenko won that in 2018. And he did a really good video thanking them, showing the what he was building with their, with the product that he won and all that. And I really thought we were going to have Miller again, and they entertained us, and it came right down to it. And they're like, nope, sorry. There was no rhyme or reason. And then the event has been getting bigger every year with more builders and stuff. You'd think that like a Woodward Fab or Bailey or, any of the fab companies would be just dying to get in this. Because look at Sean. I think Sean's running all Bailey equipment in there. I hit up them for sponsorship, and I got crickets back. So
I wonder if I could talk Tammy from Tamco into doing the whole thing. I know there a lot of guys paint now.
I did talk with Tamco. She was going to give us something for the awards, but when it came right down to it at the very end, she is such a busy lady. To get hooked back up with her again, it was all said and done. And like I said, she's a jamming woman. That lady there knows her stuff. Ooh.
Well, I just had her on the show last week.
She impresses the crap out of me. I'm very impressed with that lady. She knows her stuff.
What I love is her customer service for her clients and stuff like that. Her Tamco Army will speak up for her, and then she'll still come in and chime in and talk on every subject and make. Yeah,
sure you're selling good product. If you're selling good product, if the guys who are using your product step up and answer the questions coming from other people that are want to use the product, I mean that's volumes, and you can convince your consumer to promote your product. You've done something really good, or you have one hell of a product. And Tamco apparently has one hell of a product, so more power to them.
Well, that's why I use Tamco. I use Tamco on Norma Jean. I use Tamco on Empathy, and I'll use Tamco. Like, she's fully sponsoring the Camaro this year.
Oh, cool.
So to me, it's like, hell yeah! Like I love her product so much. So to me, it's always exciting. But I might chat with her and be like, hey, like. Maybe make her a main sponsor of it, and like, because she would love the attention. And if every one of the Radical guys was rocking a full banner windshield Tamco sticker, that would give her another Tamco army of the Radical sort.
Yeah, and then running their product too. I don't know who's all going to paint this year. If we're going to have any painting rigs or not this year, I don't know. Everyone's kind of keeps that on the down low that they're doing paint. They don't really want to say much because it's a Radical event. Well, if you're going to paint it radically. Build something great and use some good product and, stick your neck out there and do a wild paint job. I know graphics ain't really mainstream anymore, but I mean, an incredible killer paint job is an incredible killer paint job. So. Oh yeah.
And it's about I believe it's about stepping completely out of your box because this year, like I told you, I'm doing dragon scales with Michelle Rowe. Yep. We're going to go full graphic, full real with the way the wraps are going. Go for it. Don't be afraid to push the volume. If you're doing paint, don't hold back. If you're going to be throwing paint at SEMA, completely refigure what you're doing, and you got to beat a wrap. Yeah, that's straight up, hands down. You have to. The colors they can create with those wraps, you can't compete with. You better step up your paint game.
Yeah.
And and if you're going to step up your paint game, the best way to step up your paint game is with Tammy's products. Yep. Tammy and Alpha Pigments, those two have it down pat right now. House of Color is circling a drain. They got sold again to Sherwin-Williams. They're not even who they were anymore.
So I know.
Shimmerin 2 was the last thing that was put out, and we've been putting that on cars since 2006. You know?
Yeah. Yep.
It's very sad that House of Color is doing what's happening is happening, but if I can't, they're not putting anything new.
Well, John isn't in control anymore. John's a figurehead now. He's always in the booth, but he's not in control of it. House of Colors, you can't talk crap about them really because they were on the cutting edge. I mean, they basically were the first place really to put out production pearl paints and things like that, but they got corporatized. John, well, like everybody, got old and stuff and decided not, to sell out to a company that, he deserves to retire. I mean, he's worked hard his entire life, but I don't believe that. Went to Valspar, I do believe first. Now Sherwin-Williams has it now.
Mm-hmm.
So they're more corporate. They're just looking for that, to use that name to sell more product. They're not really worried about putting out more new product. They're just going to ride that name until the horse is dead, basically.
And that's where like the colors have died, and that's where Tammy's new intensity lines and a lot of her new colors, they look like the flake days when you used to candy over them, and she can do it in a base clear.
Yeah,
and it's completely, it's mind blowing what she's able to do with a modern paint. And House of Color should have been there. It sucks that PPG is the main competitor in the custom paint world.
Yeah,
and it's like how that's a color car manufacturer. Like PPG was one that pisses me off. Like I'm a painter, and activators and all this other horse shit's base clear, baby. Like you can do tri-coats, stuff like that. Stick to the basics. You don't need magical activators to make the pearl lift inside. Fuck you. Pardon my language.
I use
more product.
I'm still shooting PPG, but let me tell you, as far as the reps coming into my shop anymore, I don't let them in the door. I mean, I've heard, the last time PPG rep was in my shop, he walked in, he says, "What did you do wrong this time?"
We got to convert you over
let the door hit you in the ass on the way out. Literally is what I told them. I'm still shooting PPG product, but I don't want it rep in my shop anymore. They twang my nerve. They won't back their product. "Oh, I'll give you a gallon of paint for your mess up." Well, it wasn't my mess up. You had a low hide paint here and nobody said nothing. Here I shot 3 coats of it on, looked right in the booth, brought it outside. You look right through the paint, see the freaking primer. It's like, or sealer. Nope. Not happy with it.
We got to bring you over to the Tamco side, baby.
I'm going to have to talk to Tammy and maybe swap over. I mean, at least check out their product, because right now you're dumb. Right now with the technology out there, the body shop guys get stuck in what they use, and that we like what we use, so we stay with it. But the stuff is changing over so much now. It's getting better and better and better. So it's a no-brainer. You got to go and try the new product and see how it works, because it'll outperform the old stuff. You just have to have an open mind to change, though. And us old body men, it's hard to change what we do. It's proven. Yeah, I hate to stick your neck out and change a product and find out it failed on you or something, but on the slim chance it would. But it's 2021 now. I haven't changed products since 90. So yeah, I probably should look into some new product. I'm sure there's some really good stuff out there.
Well, the funny thing is her clear. It looks wet. Like the vehicles look wet, and that's a lacquer trick. Like I used to shoot lacquer and hand rub lacquer. That's a hand rub lacquer trick. That's it. That's the last time. Waxes have been trying to do it for years. You can't. It's not something that is easily done, and like all of a sudden it's just now you can do it again. And I'm like, when I shot her Euro Clear, I about fell over, and I was like, you can look and like you can almost feel like you're going into the paint. It's just such depth.
Yeah, I haven't heard anything bad about it. I know that. I know Chris Jensen's in our event this year, and he's shooting his Grand Prix on that. And he's been telling me too. He says, "Man, you should try their product. They got some really, really good product." So
her primer is my favorite, and I will die with that primer. 5310. It sands off like butter, doesn't clog your paper, and it smells good. and you can bury a nickel in 3 passes.
Oh no shit!
You can
see. That's why I was told that there was. I mean, because everybody, the big secret was spray poly for so long. Is it no shrink back? Well, she's saying they're urethane. What they got? I think it's a urethane. They said bare steel, right over bare steel. no shrink back whatsoever.
No.
Well, that's hard to believe. I'd like to test it and see, because there's always shrink back, but how much shrink back? You know?
When I did Norma Jean, I used zero body filler. I used all primer. And you can ask her, I ended up going through 5 gallons of primer because I wanted to do it all primer.
Yeah.
And because I wanted to try it, I was like, if I do the metal work ever so close to where I can get away with using primers, and to me, using 5 gallons of primer to get a vehicle perfectly straight is not that bad, to be completely honest. Blocking and everything like that. And it blocked so smooth and was just so easily perfect. And I couldn't even explain it. Like, it went so quick. It was because her primer it comes off like butter, and it's hard, it's smooth, and it's just perfect.
I'll have to try some her product to see.
Yeah,
I love the fact that it's
direct to metal.
Yeah, that's what I'd ask too. That's one question I had for right on bare steel. Yep, get your metal clean, right over it. Because I'm still using the acid base down first, and then go with a 2K on top of that. And then do your body work all out, feather filler, and then go from there. But if you'd be down, should try some of that product and see if it's as good as everyone's saying. Everybody and their brother that on the Tamco page is literally, self-promoting it up the wazoo, so it's got to be a good product. I just haven't gotten my button.
I can't wait to get my hands on either. Is that CSI, the polish they're using on top of the clear? And I can't believe it's supposed to replace your 3M, your 3 stages, 2 buffing pads, same material.
Okay.
So that's something you might look into too. I'm actually planning on getting. I want to get him on and actually probably have him do a demo, and maybe we can get some stuff going that way, because I want to take what you guys have going for RATical this year. I want to help you guys, and I want to be able to take all the sponsors and people I know,
appreciate that,
and start plugging them in to what you guys are doing. You know what I mean? And to me, it's like if we can get more video to these sponsors, and it's like guys that I'm hooking up with, I'm going to be like, all right, who else needs something like that? You know what I mean? That I'm getting for the Camaro.
Hell yeah.
And that way we can kind of go, okay, how far can you push it? What are you going to do? Are you doing video? And I want to talk to all your guys and tell them more video, film it on horizontal, right up on the internet. You better be on top of your TikToks, on top of your Instagram, on top of your Facebook, on top of your YouTube. If you want a chance of making this huge and getting bigger sponsors, the more you advertise yourself, the more you advertise them. Because that way you can, and
I can't beat that hard enough to builders that self-promoting is a big deal. I know a lot of these guys, it's hard to film when we're building. Yeah, but once it's built, you miss out on all the filming. You gotta film it all the way through. The sponsors love that stuff.
Well, something I was thinking about doing is on here is talking to all your RATical builders, going from the ones you're running it with this year, bringing them in on this thing, and then because we're thinking about doing another like a Tuesday live where I still keep my big people on Fridays, but do like a Builder Tuesday. Let's catch up with where everybody's at. What are you building? Where are you at? What'd you start with? And then we can go through what do you got for sponsors, and then each guy can give a throw out for sponsors on my channel.
Yeah, cool. You bet.
That way because that way my sponsors can kind of hear, and I can kind of tag them. We can find out where they're at on each build, what they're looking to get, and what kind of parts they might need.
Yep, that'd be cool. I know a lot of the guys this year weren't Johnny on the spot out of the gate. Years before, everyone January 1st, it was like an explosion. This year here with COVID and stuff, a lot of people are still cleaning up things and customer work and stuff like that. Everyone's still going to build, but it wasn't quite as coming out of the gates as hard as they normally would. Well, with COVID, everyone's kind of in the freaking daze still from trying to wrap our head around what just happened or what's still happening, so.
Well, that's why I'm thinking if we kind of start doing video like that on like a Tuesday, I can start pushing that stuff out to sponsors. Then they can take because I'm thinking we're just going to make it an hour-long thing on like a Tuesday, but we have them put Zoom on their phone, and they're going to take their phone, and we talk to them, and they walk us through their build. So the sponsors can see where their build, see where they're at, see what they need, and we can kind of put the two together where they need to be. Because a lot of times the sponsors don't understand where the project's at and what they're needing. You know what I mean? And then that way they have something they can put out, and we can help them at the same time with our backing.
Sure. That'd be cool.
So that was an idea I had. I was like, man, how can I actually help the builders and push this further? And I was like, I need to get in touch with all of them.
A pep talk to them would help because I don't know if a lot of them get the depth of what they're doing because they're self-filming and you can't film yourself enough. I mean, we want footage because we're going to go through all this and edit it all out. So the more you give us, the better chances you are of looking better yourself because you weren't lacking in any, video. You showed everything all the way across. Some of the most simple, easy things. I mean, you don't miss all that stuff. It's simple and easy to film, but the public wants to see that. The sponsors want to see that. They want to see it literally being built live.
You're going to the biggest show in the world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Getting the attention beforehand only makes the echo in the end louder.
Oh yeah, you bet.
We're
coming.
And that's where that's what I was trying to show, like some of the builders in the one I was in. I was like, it's drama me doing it in 90 days. People dig it. They want to watch it.
Yep.
Is he going to survive? Is he not? Does he fail? Does he succeed? They love that kind of shit. Just feed it to them. Like, doesn't matter even if you've been building all year. When 60 days hit, make sure you say, I only got 60 days left. And when you got 30 days left, be like, oh shit, we got 30 days left. We're leaving tomorrow.
It's always that, this many days. Everything is always on a timeline and everything is high priority. Well, really, I mean, as long as you got your timeline set down, it's just the build, but portraying it on video, you want to bring that high drama to it. I mean,
and it's being a document, don't create. It's just telling them. You can tell somebody that you only have 300 days left, and they're already like, oh my god, 300 days.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's just because you put a number to it. So to me, it's just teaching the guys little cues like that, and that TikTok is something you can just be like, hey, this is what I made today, and showing them how all these platforms work. Because I believe all of us I grew up looking at magazines. I grew up in the car world in magazines. You come from magazines. All these other guys that are builders come from looking at mags, and the new world is on the phone.
It's digital.
So it's almost like we have to give all these guys a little coaching to be like, these guys will listen to you because you're older. Not because you don't know how the platforms work, but it's because you can teach them something. You're doing stuff they don't understand. And if you try on their platform, they appreciate it. Like they'll embrace you. They're like, oh shit, this is cool.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I got to try and help some of those guys realize and try and help them out. Like we're just now starting our stuff and going this direction, which is kind of fun for me. Getting to chat with you and everybody else. Like I got to talk for Tammy for 2 hours. Like how many people would love to sit down and be able to talk her ears off, and she has so much info and so much great things for people, and it's letting people know different ways that they can go out and do fun stuff.
Yep.
Like one of the guys I want to bring on, like probably in the next couple of weeks, is Micah. One of the guys that does a lot of your sketches.
Oh yeah, Render. He's an incredible incredible artist, not a drawer, an artist. Put it that way.
You got any of the pictures of Micah's stuff? But I think we've got a couple of them of Micah's drawings. Yeah, there's one of them of Dirty Money.
Yeah, when he did the 19 tour with us, he did that whole banner with everybody. Everyone got a sketch. And that banner has everybody on that he drew. I mean, he's an incredible artist.
Oh yeah, he was whoever he got a ride for, he was drawing their car. So everybody was trying to get him in his car. Well, no, Micah. Because Micah said that he was like, if you let me ride in your car, I'll draw your car.
Yeah.
So he was trying to get in everybody's car, so everybody was trying to get him in his car, which was really fun.
He's a good guy to boot. I mean, real likable dude, so didn't know him at all.
Oh yeah, I'm excited about getting him in because I couldn't believe he did a coloring book with all of those in them.
Yep.
Which to me is cool as hell. So and I still got to order one. That's one of the reasons I got to reach out to him too, because I plan on ordering 20 or 30 so I can give them out as giveaways.
Yeah.
I was just recently put in another coloring book with Empathy for Superfly Autos. Sean was too.
Oh yeah. I
So,
talked to Super Supply people. They're pretty nice people too. They were talking about maybe coming over. I invited them over anytime they want to come over and build, or anytime you want to come over and just ride with us into Vegas and cover it.
well,
You know,
I've been talking to Tony and Carmen. They were one of the first ones I had on here. Tony is like one of my best buds in the world. I want to put him in empathy.
yeah, yeah.
I've been trying
Okay.
to talk them into coming out. I'm like, you come out here, empathy's yours. The keys are yours. Go drive. Go have fun. And he's like, hell yeah. So like we
Yep.
just try to get them over there. That's why when I move over to Amsterdam, I plan on hooking up a lot with Tony and Carmen. Tony's got such a different look of the world when he does film like his video and pictures. Like they're just great peeps.
Yeah, they are great people.
I want to get them over because it's just I know they know Sam really well, which is really kind of fun because it's like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are they
What's
are they
that?
coming to SEMA this year? Are they coming to SEMA this year?
I don't think so. I think they're still locked in on COVID because right now I know England, because my wife's over there, is locked up tight.
Yeah.
They're worried about the new African coronavirus that they found, some new variant. And
Yeah, new lab enhanced something or another. Who knows?
I just want everything to end so we can freaking get back to a normal world because
Yep.
I like to travel, and like I said, this is my last year in the United States probably for a while. So this will be like my last radical. I'll probably come back to do the like SEMAs, but probably
Yeah.
just to enjoy SEMA instead of working SEMA because I want to start doing the Geneva builds.
Okay.
I want to build for the Geneva Auto Show, just like SEMA, but it's a European
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. Exactly.
Just playing another theater for a little bit. Like I think of like a painter like Monet or somebody like that. They go to Paris for a while.
Yep. There you go. Get some
Oh,
different influences. Well, it's definitely different over there, the hot rod scene, man. I mean, it's like you got to be somebody almost because you can't just drive on open road. There's certain specifics, everything. I heard it's tough.
well, some places it is, some places it's not. I know, like the Netherlands, it's pretty liberal a little bit, like outside of the towns on the side streets and stuff, or like back roads and like on
Mhm.
the highways and stuff like that. It's fine, but like there's each country has their own rules, which is kind of cool. And
Yeah.
I want to see how anal retentive I can pull them. Like if I can fuck with America's rules and fuck with everybody here, why can we not fuck with everybody?
Well, you'll
Like,
find out.
well, there's American hot rodders over there that are doing well.
Oh
Like
yeah.
their businesses are thriving,
Oh yeah.
and to me, it's like if you're working well over here, how come nobody else has come over? Because their businesses are like they're everybody I've talked to on the phone, which has been quite a few. It's like, oh man, I'm booked out for like 4 or 5 years. I'm like, if you're booked out 4 or 5 years, are you just keeping your mouth shut so you can get rich? Like, is there money to be made? Like, I just want to go screw around because I want a European influence for a while.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll build
Well, that's
something
like,
over there because what says if I build it for SEMA or for there in March, I can't take it to SEMA in November,
well, it's like Japan. They're still chasing the '50s scene over there. They're still sock hops, poodle skirts, all that shit. They're still chasing the American dream over there. So yeah, you never know.
I just figure get some more influence as a builder because, like, in the military, we move all over and you don't really get to experience a lot of the culture. You know what I mean? So, like, it's finally a time where I'm like, as a builder, who am I as a builder? You know what I mean? I know how to do sheet metal. I know how to do paint. I know how to do this. But am I building what I think is cool or what I just think everybody else think is cool?
You ever build a right-hand drive car yet?
Not yet, but I figure it'll be fun.
You will.
Uh, I hope not, because I don't want to go to England or Australia. Well, I do want to go to Australia. Take that back. So I want to go play with those boys. Like part of my plan is once we get like over to Amsterdam is to travel more, is to actually go out to like New Zealand and hang out with the guys that we met on Radical,
Yeah, yeah.
and take one of their vehicles on a mission during their summer because it'll be wintertime there.
Nope.
Like I've been talking to all those guys because we created a group on Facebook. Like after you got rid of our Radical one, our chat group, we
Yep.
created one called the Anus, Australia, New Zealand, U.S.
Anus. There you go.
But that was when everybody was mad there for a while for about stupid shit.
They're
Like,
power hungry down there. They like horsepower down there, down under. They
oh
like to
yeah.
burn rubber.
Well, that's what I think's fun. Like, in the difference between the Kiwis and the actual Australians is to me is like because they picked on each other during that whole build, like during the
I
build and the
know.
build up. Well, they were doing it just to fuck with you guys.
I
'Cause,
know. I
like,
didn't know how to take them for a while. Like waiting for them guys to have a fucking throwdown here. You know, we got two guys traveled from the bottom of the globe to the top of the globe just to sock each other in the face at SEMA. It's like, holy Christ, guys, come on. But it really was just them messing with each other.
well, they were they were fucking with you guys.
We could tell.
That was the whole goal, was to like make everybody in the radical thing think that they were going to kill each other. Because in the background, I know that Australia and New Zealand fuck with each other, and then we would conversate as the three of us, just jokingly, like in our own conversation. It was just fun. Those guys are. They also help pay a lot for the or for the kids, the KHRA kids.
Yeah, they did. That was pretty cool of them stepping up and had to pay entry. You and
I sponsored them, and I paid. I think I came like $3,000 out of pocket because I paid for their spot at SEMA, and then I paid a lot of their entry fees, and then they raised the money, and then I think they used a lot of that for the hotels and other stuff for the kids the whole way, because I know that had to be expensive.
Yeah.
But
whole group of kids travel across the country. Yeah, I mean, they a lot of hotel rooms and stuff. Well, just to feed the whole crew, it was a lot of money.
Yeah, there were some good kids though. It's pretty fun to see where they're going, and I think some of them are growing up too quick, but at the same time, I think all of us do.
Yeah, exactly. No, they're still in the cars. They're still jamming on cars. I see them pop up on the Facebook feed once in a while. Oh.
Yeah, it's exciting to see where they go, and I don't think that you can influence a kid. Like, they got to meet with Gene Winfield when they were building, which I thought was neat.
Yeah, they got to go over to his place and build the nose on that car. So they were pretty excited about that. Well, come on, you get to build with one of the most iconic car builders, in the United States. I mean, that's pretty epic.
Oh yeah, well, that's a legend, and it's like, I don't know if some of them realize how much much of a legend he was, and how important that moment might be for them later on. But I know quite a few of them did, because you could see them really embracing the time there, and you could see him really like working with Gene. It was fun. So I love seeing those pictures.
I'm pretty sure Kenny clued him in on who he was and how iconic he really is. I mean, he is one of the fathers of the scene, really, the custom car scene.
I got a funny story about him though. It would have been, I can't remember if it would have been the year with Jack, so it would have been the year with Norma Jean, so it would have been the year you guys came and talked to me, 2018. So 17. it was the year he was overseas sick when he hurt himself.
No, it was 18. He broke his hip in Finland. Yeah, I didn't know if he'd get him back over here in time. Tough old bird beat it, and he come here and he was in his little rascal scooter.
Well, that's the funny thing. Me and Jack were leaving SEMA one day, and we left way late. We stayed for some of the SEMA meetings. It was on Tuesday, and as we were leaving, we saw this older couple trying to get this. They were headed out onto Flamingo Boulevard on these scooters, and they were going the wrong way on traffic. And me and Jack Pollock saw them, and we lifted them up, and we got the lady up first, and I noticed her first. And then we got the other scooter up, and it looked like Gene Winfield, but it was really skinny. And I was like...
Yeah, he was pretty skinny that year.
I was like, I think that's Gene Winfield. As we walked away, I told Jack that, and he goes, no. And then we saw him Thursday at the Counts party, the Counts Kustom, and it was Gene, and I was like, he saw me there, and he's like, dude, thank you for getting us up on the curb.
Yep.
He's like...
He was never that year's rascal.
Yeah, he was having to ride that around because he was hurt.
No. But he was a trooper. When he did his autograph signing, he stood for an hour. We were there the whole time, and I can't remember whose booth it was, but he stood the whole time. You could see him kind of, suck it up there a little bit. It was, 3 weeks from having a broken hip? I mean, well, like he says, what am I going to do? SEMA is once a year. I have to be here. He says, I wouldn't miss this for the world. And he showed up. What is he, 93 now? I think he just turned 93. More power to him. I hope I'm 93 still rascaling around SEMA at that age. What the hell?
Well, see, what I don't think, a lot of guys, they epitomize SEMA. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I'd love to go there. And they're like, I'd like to purchase tickets. And, like, you're like, there is no tickets.
No.
It's our industry only, but they don't realize that they could get involved in our industry by events like this, by doing RATical and stuff like that, by going, can I build something crazy enough to get out there? Can I get the sponsors to do it? And to get sponsors is literally putting your idea down on paper and explaining it to them and showing them what you can do and where your skills are at. And taking that chance to go, can I fail on a giant scale? And you're probably gonna. And it's okay. Because you're going to be there right with 11 or 12 other guys that are failing right there with you because only one guy can win.
Well, it's a learning curve. That's how you do better is you fail. I mean, every build, the next build is better because you failed, or you maybe didn't fail, but your expectations weren't met 100%. So you push it yourself every time a little harder, a little further, and everything gets better and better and better every time you build. I mean, I've been doing this 26 years now, and it's the point where I load a paint gun. I still get the shakes when I walk in the booth. It's that adrenaline rush, and I'm glad that's still happening after 27 years. But,
It's funny, my hands sweat. As soon as I grab my paint gun, my palms instantly sweat, and I'm back to the lacquer thinner. Like, all right, make sure it's not got any oil in it. You don't
want to drip on the car when you're painting it. That's the worst thing you could freaking do. It don't cover.
Or hose touch.
Yep.
Done that once or twice. I'm getting ready to paint a pickup bed that's sitting next to me, and it's like, I'm ready to, but at the same time, I want to get it up higher so I can not have to go down so low.
Yep.
Getting older, man.
Yeah, I'm 27 years on concrete. That's what's getting to me. My hips are starting to hurt. It's just, you keep buying new shoes every 3 months, put on a new pair of shoes, but you're being on concrete all that time. It eats a guy up, but
kills your knees.
I work on work pads every time I can, lay down rubber work pads so I can stay on that, so it's not so hard on the knees and hips. But still, just being in there every day wears a guy out, But we're doing what we love, so a guy can't bitch about it. A guy could be slinging mud in somebody else's shop, pissing and moaning about life. But no, I'm living high on the hog and loving what I do. And so my hip hurts once in a while. Tough shit. I'm doing what I love, so.
Well, that's where I kind of enjoy like the RATical stuff, because a lot of those guys, they're not big name builders.
No.
They're guys that are just like half of the guy. Like, I've got 3,000 people that are in my Facebook group. Probably half of them are just like you.
Yeah.
And that's where they're just regular old builders, regular old dudes.
Well,
And they don't realize they could get involved in something like this. They talk about it for years.
mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, someday I'll do something like that. When is your someday? Like, pull that thing out of the garage, get your plan going, start your plan now, and let's do 2022.
Well,
Get your plan going, get stuff figured out, get your sponsors going, get everything figured out, because it's more about the plan. You get your plan locked in, and you start locking your sponsors in early. Like, look at Braxton. I mean, like, I know he didn't finish yet, but, like, Braxton had 8 billion sponsors.
Yeah, he did good.
And it's because Braxton, when he was at SEMA, he used every guy he knew as a connection. And it's smart.
He was working them. There's a business aspect to the build-off. People don't realize that, it's not just a build-off drive-off. You got to be able to go in there and sell yourself to get free product. Otherwise, you're going to have to pay for everything yourself, and that gets to be really old. I mean, if you can build with someone else's stuff, it's a lot more fun.
And that's why most of my builds get done by sponsors, is because I push. I'm like, hey, let me show off your product. Let me show off what you got going on. And just calling them back over and over and over. Annoy the living daylights out of them. Eventually, they'll give you stuff just to shut the fuck up.
Yep, squeaky wheel gets the oil. It's going to squeak a lot. It works.
And
Be persistent, not anal. Persistent, but not anal.
And the thing is they don't realize that car that they have all those parts in, they now own. If it's your car doing the build. So you just put all these cool parts on your car because you use your sweat I call it sweat equity to get it.
Yep.
Now you have a badass car that you've been talking about building for years. Now it's done because you just get off your butt.
I got to take this. Hang on a second.
Roger.
Hello. Hello. I'm doing a pod.
We'll put up some of those pictures. Got those pictures, Cody. Pull them down. Oh, he's back. We were gonna pull the pictures down from some of the builds, but we got it now. But no, and that's where I'm trying to encourage guys to get off their butts. Like, this is the perfect time. Coronavirus is happening. Sit down and sketch. Sketch out that car you got sitting outside that's been sitting out of your window for God knows how long. You've got examples like Jacob Griffin took a freaking gremlin, cut it down the middle, I think he cut 10 inches out, put it back together. Mm-hmm. That's radical. You don't have to rebuild the whole world to change what you're doing. You could even look at your Honda Civic outside and go, well, shit, what would happen if I cut 10 inches out of the middle and put it back together? You know, how would you put it back together? Like, let's see it. Let's do some fun shit. You know, and people they always think that I don't have the ideas or the creativity. But I can, well, just take one idea and execute the one idea really well.
Yep. And just don't be scared to do it. That's just it. The worst thing that's going to happen is you're going to fail, and then you're going to learn from that and do better.
Oh, yeah,
because the main thing is you got to start. You got to, start.
But if you can think about how many of the years that you've been doing this, how many times have you failed? Probably thousands. I know I've failed thousands.
7 years, I can imagine. Oh, many.
And it's
when it comes out of your own pocketbook, that's the real learning curve. There, you remember all them mistakes because it costs you money. Well,
and failing is not a bad thing. It's when you fail, it's how you recover from it that I believe makes you who you are. Because it's like, are you going to be one that lays down, or are you going to be one that stands back up and goes back after it? And fail on a grander
figure it
scale.
out.
If you're going to fail huge.
It's all learning curve. That's what failure is a learning curve. You just, you learn from it. It's what really bad is when you fail and you fail and you fail and you don't learn from it. You just keep repeating your mistakes. That's why you fail, is to learn from it, to better yourself. So just don't give up. Keep trying. Learn from your mistakes and have balls. Build crazy stuff. Put your name out there. Put your car out there. Build your dreams.
And
imagine what a boring life it would have been. There would have been no Bill Hines or Gene Winfield or George Barris. Imagine that all the cars would have been just blah. These guys had balls enough to cut up the stuff and make really cool stuff out of it, and they weren't scared of the criticism. So, and look at where they ended up. They changed the whole custom car scene. They made the scene back then.
Well, and if you just have the guts to actually, to do it, and the thing is you don't, like, right now all you got to do is take the drawing, and you can be working on your drawing and, like, come cruise with us to SEMA. There's nothing stopping you from coming up to Nebraska, driving out with us, and hanging out with a bunch of hot rodders and talking to those guys about how they made it, how they got their sponsors. And maybe you don't go to SEMA with us and get to go in the building, but you can have that week experience. And hell, I'll share all the knowledge I got with you and help you tap into my sponsors, whoever's sponsors. Mm-hmm. Because the more guys we have doing this, the better off we're going to be as an industry. Because the more guys we have helping each other, the more guys we have doing builds together. Like, and it's been crazy. Like, I use a lot of the radical guys on some of my builds or some of my ideas on my builds. I throw them an idea, and I want to see how it hits them. If I see them like, oh yeah, I can see that, or usually it's like, those are the ones I look at more. But like, it gives me this group of dudes that are like what's the best way to put it? Like, just a forum of sorts. You know what I mean? Because we're all a little weird, so it's nice to have a forum of guys that are just weird like you. So it's like,
they're all one little bit off for car guys. It's just,
well, and we're not regular car guys. It's the whole thing. You're not. If you're the kind of guy that wants to rebuild your '67 Chevelle and show up with us to Radical, by all means, go on the cruise with us. Please don't ask me how to get sponsors to get into SEMA with that car. Like, I don't want to see your muscle car. I want to see shit I ain't seen. I want to see cars that you created, something that's off the wall. It's not just a slammed this, or when we're talking radical, you gotta go a little off the way off the beaten path a bit. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You gotta like it's next level stuff. Like
Yep.
the Camaro, like me going electric, it's not just that. That car is slammed. That car, you'll see, it's next level. It'll be considered in that realm only because it's not been done. But like when it's been done 2, 3, 4 times, now it's a tired subject, and I don't think people understand that. Like it's a. I get so tired if I go to a car show and I see another Chevelle with 2 white stripes running down it, and it's either red or black or white. I'm going to smack somebody.
Yep.
Oh, look,
You
another
know?
red Camaro. It's like, stop.
I know.
Like, literally, if you
I
painted
know.
it backwards and put the stripes going left or right, I might be more intrigued. Be like, all right, I talked to that guy.
Nope. But the industry has been like sheep. Everybody follows that same recipe, and that's what. Well, it comes on reality TV too. It's a reality. It's a recipe. They like that recipe because it works. Well, that red Camaro with the black stripes works. Well, it's getting old though, and everyone's looking for a breath of fresh air, something new, something to excite everybody again, and
I'm
make
just
people
so-
want to build and get back into the car scene.
I'm-
Not just the
It's
same old,
because
same old.
everybody's a resale value, resale value, resale value. It shouldn't even be about that. It should be smiles per gallon.
Yeah,
should be-
exactly.
Nobody's worried about happiness. All they give a crap about is money, and they forgot that happiness is way better than money.
Oh yeah.
Like we're gonna take one of my like Cody, the guy sitting next to me. His car, he drives a Ford Taurus. It's god awful sounding, everything like that. We decided we're gonna rattle can bomb it and paint outer space on the car
There you go.
just to put a smile on his face, and he's like, hell yeah, because it makes it fun again.
Yeah.
It's not because the car is like, it's not worth the paint, it's not worth the time, but it's worth it because it's what he has.
No,
You
it
know?
gives you a chuckle too. Get something out of it. Put a grin on.
Yeah, if a car puts a smile on your face when you walk out to it, that's something that wins every day of the week.
Oh,
And when you're driving down the road and it's making other people smile, isn't that what we're supposed to be doing with cars anyways?
well, that's what it used to be. Yeah.
So, and that's where I'm trying to, and that's why we're going to actually start doing it to people and doing it to our stuff, is showing people, let's have fun, quit being sticks in the mud, and like, who cares if it's not perfect? And that's the other thing. The radical cars are not perfect by no means. Like, they get close, but it's not about the perfection. It's about the fact that they're driven cars, the fact that they're going to be putting on thousands of miles, and they'll have little flaws here and there, but it's about being real,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not, they're not like, I know you've seen it before too, the show cars that don't run with the chrome drivetrains.
Oh yeah. No antifreeze, no oil. Yeah. Push him in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but or the ones when they drive them over stage, it's not even the actual engine running; it's an engine in the trunk,
Yeah.
driven by a belt. That's not these cars. These
No,
cars,
no, not at all.
but they're and I don't even call them 10-footers. You can be right up on them, and it'll take you right up on them to find the flaws. And it's not like they're we call them 10-footers or 50-footers. Oh, it looks great from 50 foot. When you get up on it, it's scary. It's like, no, you can get right up on these, and everything's still pretty great. It's
Oh,
just,
yeah.
it's the fact it's hand fabricated.
Yep.
And that's the thing I love about them is they're not meant to be perfect. Each one is just its own little beast, and that's why I wanted to have you back on, is to make sure that people knew, like, how important radical actually is. And I know a lot of guys will give me crap because I know that new Australians will give me some shit. He's like, 20 grand for this, and I don't understand it.
No.
But it was a little more expensive for them, to come across.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like, if you talk to the guy, is from South Africa,
Fricky.
like Fetty, like when I met him at SEMA, he put the giantest smile on my face.
Oh yeah.
The guy is just he's full on life.
Oh yeah, he is.
And I can't imagine. I would have wished I would have done the drive with him that year, because the guy was just so big on everything, and it was just like, And then when I went on the cruise, and it was still like that, with most of the other guys, that everybody's just really full of life. And I was like, shit, yes. And that's where I think a lot more people need to get involved in stuff like this.
That's kind of cool to get all those different people, and they're all different from different parts of the world, and we all come together on one thing that we enjoy, the automobile. That's pretty neat. I mean, different languages and everything, but we all understand the car. We get together, we're like-minded car guys, and we all come together on that one point, and we may not agree politically, whatever, but when it comes to cars, we all get along. So it's just really cool to get that many people travel that far with like-minded people and basically make family for the rest of your life, and then go to SEMA and impress your sponsors and hopefully land bigger and better things for your future and better yourself. So,
yeah, and I remember one of the guys that drove with us.
The road.
He came to SEMA with us, but he didn't even compete with us in the RATical. But it was awesome just having more cars on the road, and that's where I want more guys to drive with us this year. If we had 200-300 cars, imagine that. The parade of vehicles we could have. And people, anybody's
welcome to come for the drive.
Oh yeah, and that's where the best part is you can take if you have an old Impala or so. I'd rather see cool cars, but bring what you got. It don't matter what you have. If you got an old Mercury Marquis sitting there, you want to come cruise with us? Come cruise. Come hang out with us. Like, make it more of a family. Plan it out. Like, we'll give you the dates beforehand when the drive is, and come out and hang out with us. Like, I know the guys that love getting hands, especially on Saturday when we roll in, or on Friday anyways, getting the cars cleaned. Come help and clean stuff up, get involved in a huge event, and grow our family.
Yep.
So, and that's where I want to help advertise that too, is the drive-off portion. Because I think the drive-off is better than the build-off.
I think myself too. I do to see them on action on the road. That many vehicles, all fresh builds to boot. Some of them don't have any hours at all. Some of them are literally being worked on when they roll into the parking lot in Nebraska, still dialing it in. So it's a good thing. Yep, I got a wife looking at me back from there. Yeah, I do. Yep.
But I should probably get you off here anyways. We've had you on here for another hour and a half again.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Heck yeah. It's fun bullshit with you anyways.
Oh, we got Jean Everly says she's hoping to come with her camper and stuff like that. Bring your camper. Like, bring stuff out. I encourage everybody to come. It'd be so much fun. Like, I'm actually planning on, when we do it, because I don't want to pay for hotels anymore, and, like, we stayed at a bunch of little ones. And I like doing the truck stop showers because they're awesome.
Yeah, okay.
So I know I'm making Empathy pull one camper, and I think I'm going to make, I think we're one of the other vehicles I'm trying to find a box truck. So I want to find a 26-foot box truck I can put the Camaro in when I go to haul it, and then I'm going to sleep in the box truck.
That works. Save some money.
Well, I figure it'd be more fun. And then I want to make it so I can walk on the roof, too.
We end up in the parking lot half the night when we show up. Anywhere is when we end up have to have a couple beers every evening, it seems like, and when half the crew is out in the parking lot till 3 a.m. to come back in to get up at 7 to get up to leave at 8. So,
well, my whole thing is when we're in Vegas, you technically are supposed to be in a building to smoke pot. So throw the back open on the truck and hop on in. Let's get freaking trashed.
There you go.
Set up couches and chairs and be all comfy.
Well, that's what we did at Circus when they were doing the remodel. We come out one day and all the couches and chairs are in the dumpsters. We just unloaded the dumpsters, put carpet out, had couches and chairs everywhere, lamps and shit. They made us put everything in the dumpster next morning again, but it was fun that night.
I love Circus. My wife hates it there. Like, I love the fact that it's old 70s kitsch. And
it is.
I'm scared. The new guy who bought it, he already sold it. And it was the only one in MGM's, like, making, like, casinos that made money. So,
really? Oh. I like the fact that it can throw a rock to the SEMA Convention Center from Circus. I mean, it's a hop, skip, jump, and you're there.
And that's where I like being. Like, I know that a few of you guys stayed somewhere else last year, like, closer. Like Jeremy and them.
Well, Sean and those guys got a house last year, or it would have been last year, year before they got a house and stuff. But we stayed Circus.
No, like I just want to go back over the radical stuff, so we're to make sure. Like I know we don't. I don't think you know the dates yet for the drive, do you?
No, I don't. I tell you the truth. I had everything set up from last year, and I haven't even looked at the dates for this year, which I should get my proverbial button gear and get the dates. We do have itinerary lined up, but we have to change dates and all that kind of stuff, and then recheck on rooms to see if these will still obligate the contracts we had from the year before, which most of them probably will, I would think.
Well, yeah, let me know on that because I'll, definitely we got to get some rooms too, and I know that shit's dirt cheap right now because I was almost getting ready to schedule some rooms.
My brother is flying in from Vegas Wednesday, $38 to fly into Minneapolis from Vegas. That's pretty impressive. His bag costs more to bring a bag with than it would just his body. That's nuts. So I think he's flying here for like $78 or something like that. I think it was 40 for the bag and 38 for him.
Means we need to start telling people to get the rooms in Vegas, man.
That's crazy.
But no, and I think I told you last time, but we want to get your 5 favorite songs to get you pumped up. So that's something we've been doing with everybody. We have. You don't have to tell me right now. Just like when you get a chance.
Let me think on that a while.
Well, to me, it's like if we're creating a playlist that we can kick on, and we got all these different people from different genres, different stuff, and you put together one playlist of like 5 favorite songs from each person.
That'd be cool.
You're going to end up with one hell of an epic playlist.
Oh, yeah. Hell yeah.
And I like the different variety. Right now we got some that are different languages. We got some that are like all over the place.
Cool.
I was just checking to see if we had any more questions. I know my mom said hi. Said great podcast. I know that we're going to take this podcast and we're going to actually clip it up into like 1 minute segments, like in like the smaller segments, so we can run these as like commercials, like when we went over the stuff earlier. Because I want to make commercials for Radical, so we're going to take some of the video and stuff like that. So any of the guys you have, if they can send us a little video clips, like just short clips, we want to make a video so it's 5 to 10 seconds, even if it's just of their car from Radical, but it's all of previous builders and their current builders. I need like 10 or 15, and I want to put together a Radical commercial about the drive-off. And then I want to just purely about the drive off. Just like, because we got some video, we've stole it from a few guys online already from a few things. I know Charlie had a bunch of stuff from YouTube and TikTok that we were kind of pilfering through. Because I want to do a commercial for the drive off. Because like I told you before, I want to get supercars there. Cool. I want to get if I can get. Imagine if we had like I said, 20,000 cars like on a run like that.
Cool.
Even though they're not all part of Radical, but just cruising with us.
Just epic. The convoy going down the road will be epic. Hell yeah!
I mean, there's 500,000 people that go to SEMA. Can we get 1%? 5,000 cars. Come on.
Oh man, that's film-worthy right there.
And that's where I'm thinking that if we push it as a drive-off, we push it as something that's fun. We push it as like custom car guys. I figure maybe we'll get 500.
Yeah, I mean, not everyone has to be in the event. You can just come along for the drive, just the scene.
And that's what I want to do is create that scene to where we're having so much fun cruising down the highway. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing funny going to SEMA is that we're driving to SEMA in a convoy and we're passing all these semis, and they're all going to SEMA. We just see you there, boys, and they're like, "You guys drove in, didn't you?" It's like, yeah. We were the crew that rolled by you, Flagstaff or whatever, Tucumcari when we passed you on 40. And they remember us. It's like, God, you guys are fucking nuts. You're driving into Vegas. It's like.
Well, and our convoy was 40, 50 cars big. Because you got the 12 original and then other cars that were coming with. So we already had 40 or 50. I'd love to see 10 times that amount. Like, I have still never made it to one of the Hot Rod magazine ones, the Power
Tours?
Yeah,
Hot Rod Power Tour?
I want to do one so bad. I've seen video of them. They get thousands and thousands of cars.
Oh, yeah.
Like, why can't we do our own version of that? but without it being the power tour. It's just us out having fun. I mean, heck, bring your power tour cars.
Jeff Thisted is sponsoring that. He is actually the host of it this year. He's putting it on. We've been in contact with him, trying to get him to come along too. And he's been on our Zoom meetings with us a couple of times and stuff, BS with them, all the other builders and things. And it's like, come on, man. If we ever do Land Network, he's going to be right in the host position. If we can hook him in, he's a good guy on camera. Hell, he used to do The Price is Right back in the day with Bob Barker, for Christ's sake. I mean, he's good on camera. He's a good looking dude. So I mean, he knows cars and all that. So
well, I'm hoping all that stuff with Tim Prokop works out too. So you guys can get some.
Sure. Tim has been working this forever, and Tim's got a list of stuff that he's done. A lot of people ask me, why would Tim still on Mike? Because he's got the clout. I mean, he has done mega reality TV. He's been up for the Guild Award 2 times. I mean,
I just think he's pushing in the wrong direction. I think he's pushing towards TV when I think he needs to push.
Yeah, he's chasing Motor Trend and Discovery again. And I'm like, the word is, from you and a lot of people is the streaming stuff. It seems like that,
That's the direction we're going. I was just offered that $1 million contract last January, and I turned it down because and we haven't got our stream to that point yet, but I know that it's better. For the things they wanted to take away from me, the money's not worth it. The streaming is already going to be gaining further there. You wouldn't be able to pull sponsors. They'd limit you on what you can do.
Yep.
And that's where I'm worried you guys are going to get boxed in. And it's
that's right. That's what my thought was too. Now we'll land sponsors, but because we got TV, but now the TV is going to suck the life out of them before it gets to me. I got a middleman in the way now. What's network TV? But I don't know. I ain't been there yet. I don't know the recipe, and I don't know how it's going to end.
Well, that's where I think it's going to be fun. You can still push your social angle as much as you possibly want. So it's like let's push the social as big as we can, and that way when Tim does get it on point, now you've got both to back up. So when you sign your contracts, you're like, no, social's mine. And let them grow together.
Tim keeps throwing the ball. It's going to get knocked out of the ballpark here because we have a good product. RATical is a good event. I mean, manufacturers need to look at this hard and realize that we are a proving grounds that roll into SEMA. And I think that once that gets out enough and it's stuck in someone's brain that they're going to go, damn, the boys are driving in. That hasn't been done yet. So invest. RATical.
It is not just a proving grounds. It's a marketing chance. You get to get marketing by getting it installed. You can get them to get video of it installed, pictures, and you can see it when it goes on the trip. And then when it gets to SEMA, and then usually you're going to have a placard there or something there with your sponsor stuff on it. So you're getting the exposure you get for being a sponsor on one of the vehicles for it pays tenfold. That's what I always explain to people. And if you're a good builder, those sponsors will come back to you. Like me asking Tammy again. Tammy doesn't ever even have a question because she knows that her marketing dollar is getting paid. Because you got to make sure you market the living crap out of their product. You shove it down everybody's throat because if they believe in you, you need to believe in them.
Oh yeah. That's how it's done. Door swings both ways with the manufacturers. And they'll treat you good if you treat them good. So treat your sponsors good. Mention them. Drop their name. Show their product being put on your vehicle. When you're doing it, film it, and it's the best thing since sliced bread.
Call your buddies over. Show it off to them. Yeah. And that's where the fun part is. Involve your friends. Get them involved in your builds. Bring them along. Have fun with your friends. Plan this out as a party. Be like, hey, we're going to go to Vegas right prior to SEMA. We can't get in, but I'm going to let you know this. Half of SEMA is outside. So you can see most of it.
Yep.
It's the buildings you can't get to. And most of the important builds are outside.
Yep. Come enjoy it and live it. Be part of it.
Yeah.
Immerse yourself in it.
But I thank you so much, Bryan, for coming on again. And it was such a pleasure, man.
Appreciate it, BJ. Anytime.
Yeah, and next time you guys have one of them Zoom calls to your builders, throw me in on it. I want to talk to your guys. And add me to that chat, too, if you can. And I'll start talking to them and start helping them out. And we'll start getting that Tuesday thing going so we can start getting them some attention.
Sounds good. Appreciate it, BJ. You have
Love
a
you,
good
brother.
one.
Thank you
Take
so
care.
much, man. And
Later.
thank you all for tuning in. And I'm not sure who we have up next week because I honestly forgot to ask people. But I got Micah and a few other guys I got lined up. I know that I've asked, so we should have an interesting one.
Okay, man.
Thanks,
Till we
brother.
meet again.
Yep.
Be on the streets. Later.